If confidence is key for athletes, why do so few coaches, why do so few athletes intentionally think about or work on building their confidence? Hey guys, I'm Sam Nott, and if you're new to the channel, I am the owner of Sam Nott Research International. I help athletes eliminate self-sabotage so that they can consistently perform at the level that they believe they are capable of performing. And I help athletes that are looking for a little bit of a competitive edge through the way they think and use their emotions. Confidence building activities. How do you even approach confidence building activities? Now, you know the old cliche of if you can't have confidence in anything else, you can have confidence in your preparation. Yes, that completely holds true. I'm here in Atlanta just on a little bit of a walk. I'm here on a business mastermind meeting. There's the hotel right there, over here somewhere, if I can get it in the video. And I wanted to take a little walk, get a little movement, get the blood flowing, create this video for you guys. Confidence building activities. So what are confidence building activities? It's not just about going out and practicing, because as a former Division I athlete myself, there are plenty of times that I went out to practice and I ended up with less confidence after the practice, because during the practice I kept beating myself up and saying, why didn't I do this right? And why didn't I do that right? And why didn't I perform the way I wanted to perform? And, just completely self-sabotaging myself, completely beating myself up because I couldn't control my focus. So the confidence building activities are solely based on your focus. And where athletes run into a lot of problems is this idea of they're always matching themselves up. They're always comparing themselves to their ideals. And their ideals are where they think they should be versus where they actually are. We all have ideals. Ideals are a good thing to have because they actually propel us. They actually say that, hey, I am capable of more. The problem comes when we focus on those ideas in a way, those ideals in a way that self-sabotages ourselves. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. Ideals are always going to be there. Ideals are always going to be something that our mind and our body think of and want us to move towards. They're always going to be there. It's just the nature of our mind. It's just the nature of us being athletes, being competitors. It doesn't matter if you're a 9-year-old, you're going to ideally want to be like the 10-year-old. You're going to want to be like the 12-year-old player that you look up to, or you're going to ideally look up to the professional athlete that you see on TV. There's always going to be an ideal scenario that you want to get to. And as an athlete, if you ever get to the point where you don't have any ideas, you don't have any areas that you can improve, then you should probably just quit playing your sport, because it means you don't care. On the flip side of the equation, it becomes a self-sabotaging pattern that we fall into, believing that we should be where our ideals are and not appreciating the areas that we've gotten to so far. We don't appreciate the gains that we've made so far. We don't appreciate that, hey man, a week ago I couldn't do X, Y, and Z. A year ago I couldn't do A, B, and C. We don't appreciate those things. And there's a funny way that our mind and our bodies work. When we start to appreciate, when we start to show gratitude, and we start to really understand that we have made a lot of progress, even if you're in a little bit of a lull right now, even if things aren't going your way, you still have made progress. You still have gotten more information. You've gotten more feedback to help you improve in the future. Our mind and our bodies work in a funny way, in a sense that when we can step back and we can be appreciative and we can be grateful and we can be thankful for the things that we've gone through and the things that we've learned and the areas that we've improved, we actually start to make more progress than what most athletes do. And what I did myself was to beat myself up, saying, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, or I'm not as good as I should be, or I'm not where ideally I should be. Because that self-sabotage, that forcing of beating myself up because I'm not where I ideally should be, becomes a pattern of negativity. It becomes a pattern of self-sabotage, and it becomes a pattern where we beat ourselves up. And we've got to win from within before we can win outside of ourselves. So winning inside of ourselves, being able to build our confidence, is being able to look back on what we've accomplished so far. There's a cool little old stone and wood building right here. being able to look back at what we've accomplished so far, being able to look back and say, hey, look at all the progress I've made so far, and actually feeling grateful for it can be one of the most magical things that you can ever do for yourself. And if you do it on a more consistent basis, you're going to start realizing and you're going to start noticing and you're going to start paying a lot more attention to the things that you've accomplished so far and the things that you've done so far and the relationships that you've built so far and the wins that you've had so far. It doesn't mean that we settle. It doesn't mean that we rest on our laurels. That's not what I'm saying at all. It means that we look back and we appreciate, we show a sense of gratitude, because that sense of hunger is always going to be there. But if we let that sense of hunger beat ourselves up, saying we're not where we ideally could be, you're only making yourself worse by trying to force yourself into those ideals. When you can realize I am exactly as I am right now, this moment, this very second, today, when you realize you can't change that other than the way you approach the future, you can't change what has happened in the past, but once you can start appreciating it, then you're going to give yourself that momentum. You're going to give yourself that energy. You're going to give yourself that reinforcement that you are on the right path and you are learning a lot of information. You are developing the right relationships. And hey, man, maybe the wins and losses aren't where you want them to be, but the more you focus on the things that you can be grateful for, the more, I don't want to say more easily, but the more likely the wins are going to come in the future. Instead of beating yourself up continually, self-sabotaging continually, beating yourself up because you're not where you think you should be. So I could dive into this for, hours on end, but it all starts with understanding and realizing where you're at and appreciating where you've come to get there. And realizing that those ideals will always be there. They'll always be in the future. And they're supposed to be a guidance system, not a source of beating yourself up and making yourself worse. So appreciate you guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.